So next is the evolutionary process model. Under evolutionary, we have two types, the RAD model and the spiral model. So the first is the RAD model. RAD, Rapid Application Development Model, is a high-speed adaptation of the waterfall model. Using RAD model, software product can be developed within a very short period of time, that is almost 60 to 90 days. So it is a very faster, you can develop the software very fast. So it is a very useful or efficient model. The initial activity starts with communication between the customer and the developer. Depending upon the initial requirement, planning is done. Now the requirement is divided into requirement groups, and each team is assigned, and each group is assigned to a different team. So what will happen? The requirements will be divided into requirement group, and each group will be assigned to a different team. Like other approaches, in RAD approach also, all the generic framework activities are carried out. What are the generic framework activities? Communication, planning, modeling, construction, and deployment. So all the 5 generic framework activities will be carried out in the RAD approach. These generic framework activities are already discussed earlier. When all the teams are ready with their final product, the product of each team is integrated, that is combined to form a product as a whole. So there are different teams which were made, and each one got a requirement group. Now when all the teams are ready, what will happen? Their work will be integrated and it will be combined to form a product as a whole. In RAD, each team carries out the following steps. So each team here will carry out the generic process framework. Now first is the communication. It understands the business problem and information for the software. Planning. Since various teams are working together on different modules simultaneously, planning is an important part of the development process. Modeling. Modeling, it includes business modeling. It includes the information flow among different functions in a project. Example, what information will be produced by each function, which function handles the information, etc. Data modeling, it includes different data objects used in software and relationship among different objects. Process modeling. During process modeling, process descriptions are created. Example, add, modify, delete, etc. Fourth step is construction. It includes component reuse. Reusable components means the software components, that is modules or procedures that are developed from a specific applications which can be reused for the development of other applications. I am using a login page for one website. I've created a login page of one website and I want to use the same login page for my other website also. That means I am reusing that module of login page. So I created it for a specific application and I am reusing it for some other different website, some other different application. I'm not again and again making that login page. That is called component reuse. Automatic code generation. The software producing the codes after providing proper inputs or selecting ready-made options. Example, Microsoft front page used in web development. Rational rows used for object-oriented analysis and designing. Third is testing. Testing is carried out to check whether the flow of coding is correct, to check out for errors of the program, or to check whether the program is giving expected output as per the input specification. So what will testing do? Testing will be carried out to check the flow of coding, whether the flow of coding is correct or not. Check out for errors. Like in C program, we see that when we press the F7 key, then you get the error at each step of execution. Also, by using the add watch variable, you can add the variables and watch the values of the variables, or to check whether the program is giving expected output as per the input specifications. Next is merits or advantages. Using the RAD approach, A product can be developed within a very short period of time, that is 60 to 90 days. Why? Because it is a high speed adaptation of waterfall model. So the product will be developed very fast. In the waterfall model, you saw there was a disadvantage that the customer has to wait, has to have patience. Because waterfall model is a sequential approach, the working version of the software is given too late to the customer. Therefore, the customer has to wait, should have patience. But here it is given in a short period of time. It supports increased reusability of the components. We saw component reuse in construction phase. It is supporting increased reusability of the components. It results in minimal code writing as it supports automatic code generation. This also we saw in the construction phase. In this approach, quick initial reviews are possible. In this approach, module integration is done from the beginning, thus resolves number of integration issues. It encourages customer feedback. Demerits of the model: it can be used if sufficient number of staff is available, thus it requires sufficient manpower to create a number of teams. So we saw in case of incremental model did not require work staff. Small size was sufficient. But here you will require a large team of members. Why a large team of members? Because each requirement group is being given to different teams. So you need manpower to make a number of teams. In RAD approach, many teams work parallel to implement different functions of the same project. Hence, all teams must work with equal speed. If one team lags behind the schedule, overall project delivery will be later. All the teams over here are working simultaneously on different modules. So all of them have to have the same pace, the same speed. If one team lags behind, then the project delivery will be late. If the system cannot be modularized properly, then building components for RAD model will be problematic. This approach is useful for larger projects. Two primary disadvantages: reduced scalability. It occurs because the RAD application evolves a prototype to a finished application, thus there is less scope of scalability. Reduced features: it occurs due to time boxing. Time boxing is a time management technique in which the task is completed in a given frame of time called time boxes. Thus, the features are pushed to be completed to the later release due to short amount of time. So, all the teams have to maintain the same speed. Therefore, a time boxing, a time limit is given to each team. So, it causes reduced features, and also there is reduced scalability. So, these two are the important disadvantages.